Okay, here we go with our first 3D model. I brought up a project seed file. This is an old one. I didn't have my newest ones here. And I've saved it as project 7. And all it has is a title block, a letter sheet file, and a default model in 2D. So we're going to create a 3D model. And what we're going to draw today is this object here. Just a simple retainer clip. Got some dimensions on it. I've printed it out so I can read them. So we'll refer back to this on occasion, but I've got the dimensions here. So I'll read them off to you. I'll have it handed out during class. So let's create our model. New, Design 3D, and we'll call it Retainer Clip. That puts us into this 3D DGN file. We'll create a level called Retainer Clip. I should have one here for dimensions. You probably already have one. Retainer Clip will be our active level. I'll draw this in white in a fairly heavy line weight so that you can see it. And we're going to use our solids modeling tool, starting out with if we look at this again, we're going to do an overall 4 foot by 2.380 by 1.125, just to get a box in there. Go settings, design file, make sure our working units, this one's in meters, we want to make sure it's in inches to 3 decimal places. We'll say OK. And I'm going to start with this slab. And we said it was 4. I'm going to hit T for top. Oh, come on. Whoops, I'm already in top view. Got to rotate this to an isometric view. There we go. We're going to go just like it's drawn. 4. There we go. And width on that was 2.38. And the height 1.125. Okay. Now on the top of this we have a cylinder. That cylinder is 1 inch tall. It's 1.375 in diameter outside. And it's centered 2 inches in, 1.19 inch in off this side. So it's basically centered on that slab. Take our cylinder tool, left and right mouse button, hit a tentative point, hit the enter key. We're going to go right to the center point. We said that the diameter of this is 1.375. So we're going to type in 1.375 divided by 2. Because what we had was the diameter. And we said the height on this was 1 inch. Now let's go ahead and Boolean using our T Unite Solids tool. We're going to Boolean this shape to this shape because our next operation is to drill a hole through this piece. And that hole, if we look at our drawing, drilled all the way through, is a 0.698 diameter. So again, we'll find the center point, we'll key in 0.698 divided by 2, and left click. So all we've done is just drawn a 2-dimensional circle on the top. Now we're going to go to our T menu again and do a cut solids by curves. We left click on our solid. We're going to cut in both directions all the way through. Just left click again. Now we've got a hole through there. We have a cutout in the bottom, and we're just going to do this with a shape. We'll use our W1 tool to place a block, and I'm just going to left and right mouse button on this bottom corner, hit O, and I'm going to hit S for side, and we're coming in 0.5 inches. Left click. The width of this is going to be 3. and the height is going to be I had it written down. Looks like it's we'll call it 0.5. And again, all this is a two-dimensional shape. We're going to use our same cut solid tool, select our object, select our shape, going to go all the way through and cut it. So now if we look at this in kind of an illustrated mode, we'll do it with the shadows on. We can rotate it and we can see that we've got this hole drilled through the whole retainer clip. We have one more piece to put on. We'll actually do this one while it's rendered. I'm going to left and right mouse button on this end, hit O, and I'll hit T for top. We're going in a distance of 0.94. Then we're going to left click, and this is just going to be a 0.5 by 0.5 square or rectangular shape. And again, we're going to cut this tool all the way through. So you see what that does is it actually opens up this end. And we can look at it from the underside. You can see it pretty much lines up. So essentially we've completed this clip now. Okay, everything looks good. What we will do, now we'll kind of wait on this, but we can bring this in as an isometric later. Let's just go to our letter sheet file. Very simply, we should be able to bring this in at full scale, I think. And what we'll do is go to our reference tool. We're going to say Attach New. Go to our Project 7 on the desktop. We're going to look in our 3D model, our retainer clip. We'll click this top view, full scale, hit OK, and we're just going to place this right on the top. Now I'd kind of like to rotate this 90 degrees, I think, just because of the way it came in. So we'll click our rotate reference. We're just going to key in 90, and we'll place it right here on the top. About there. Okay, so that looks good. Problem is we don't really have any hidden lines yet, so we'll work on that in a minute. But what we can do is with this retainer clip, there's a tool here called Copy Fold Reference. So if I click this tool and I want to fold this about a horizontal line, I can pull this down. You see what it does is it takes that top view and rotates it to a front view. So I'll bring that right here. So there's our front view, and now let's unfold it again, this time on a vertical line. We're going to bring it over here to the side, so it's actually giving us a right side view. Okay, so everything looks pretty good here. We won't make any changes just yet, but if you look at this on the visible edges, we can change this to Legacy. And if we click this little tool here and say, I want to do this exact, and we can actually do this on all three. I'm just going to select all three of these, and we're going to click right here and say Legacy. So we'll do them all three at once. I just selected them all. Maybe I can't. So I got to do this one. Legacy. Unselect it. There we go. Legacy. In this case, we want the method to be exact. There's a reason for that, so it will do the radiuses. We want to see hidden lines with the color red and the line style 2. Visible edges I want to see as color blue, line style 0. We'll put a weight on here of 1, even though it doesn't really matter. 1, let's go to 2. And we'll say OK. Doesn't look like much, but if you look down here now, and we select the next one, you'll notice what that did is it actually drew the two-dimensional drawing with the hidden lines and visible edges showing on the screen. We'll go to this 2, same thing, change it to Legacy. and exact, hidden, visible, just say OK. And the same thing on this one. Once it gets the settings, and we just say OK, and we can close this out. So there's our top, front, and right side view of our object. So we can start doing some dimensioning now. We'll put a title on here. We'll use our 1/8 inch center justified. Mine's a little bit different. I apologize because I forgot to. And we'll just say top view at 0 degrees. If I just right click, I can just type in front view. I don't have to even get out of the tool. And right side view. Now, we go to our dimensioning tools. We're going to click a style, mechanical. Hopefully this is set the way it should be. And we can click on this because this is a full circle. I want to see the diameter. And I want to see a center mark. So there's our diameter. We can do the same thing for the smaller radius. We can start putting our height. Actually, we can use this tool to do the height. 1 inch, 1.25. We use our dimension linear to do the overall height. We're going to do the overall width. Up here at the top we can do dimension to the center point, both directions. We've got the overall width. This I don't think I got totally centered, so might have had a little, yeah, actually says it is there. So I'm not going to let my dimensions lie. What else do we need? Oh, the height of this cutout. And again, we're just trying not, we don't dimension to hidden lines, we don't dimension to, we don't try to cross our dimensions, so that ends up so this looks pretty good. You notice we don't see a hidden line here because this just continues all the way down through. So that's project 7, and it all comes from the clip. Now if we have our association lock on, let's just imagine for a minute that, and I'm going to move this up for a second, when I did the dimensions, association was on. So let's go back and let's just, I'm going to change that retainer clip just a little bit. I'm going to grab this top, I'm going to pull that, hit the F key. I don't know whether it'll let me. Now it's pulling on the bottom of it. I'll just pull this one out. We'll just lengthen this leg on this side. We'll go back to our letter sheet. You see that nothing's happened, but if I go back here to our top view, for instance, and I change that back to dynamic and hit OK, and just refresh it, oh, it's got the wrong one. Sorry. This is our top view. And we'll just change that to dynamic. You see what happens is this gets elongated and our dimensions become somewhat uncontrolled. They don't want to go back in, so we'll just Control Z that. That won't let us. But I can go back to our model. I've got some setting that's not just right on this thing. I'm just going to hit T, bring this back into the edge, go back to our letter sheet, and change this back to Legacy. And Legacy, it should all be the same as before. And I'm not really sure why that won't reassociate with that, but we'll just take these dimensions off, close out the piece. I'll have to do some work on that to figure out exactly why that's not doing what we want it to do. Put these dimensions back in. Our radius or our diameter with our center mark. Whoops, this edge. That pretty much covers it. We do a Control P. We attach our pen table. I'm not sure where mine is right now, but let me go look. I'll find one. There's a pen table. That'll work. We'll take a look at it. That looks good. We're going to go ahead and print this out, and we're going to upload it to our PDF folder for assignment 7 or project 7. And that's all there is to taking a 3D model and bringing it into a sheet file. The other thing we could do on this, and you can give it a try if you want, if I just bring in another reference file, I'm just going to attach the same reference file again, project 7, the retainer clip. I'm going to bring it in as an isometric at 1:2 or half scale. I'm just going to place it right here. And I can click on presentation and actually take that and change it to an illustration with shadows and say OK. And what you'll see that does is it actually gives me the model on a 2D sheet of paper that we can print out and actually show somebody what the illustration looks like. And if we do a Control P again, attach that same pen table, always got lots of pen tables around. Huh. I don't know why that disappeared. Oh, maybe I got to take it off rasterize. As soon as I did it as a rendered, it changed this to a rasterized image. So it actually gives me this line drawing with the image in place. So everything looks okay here. We're going to close this out. We hit our print. We're going to print this to a PDF file. I'll just put it on my desktop for now. Remember, type your name in, assignment number somewhere, and hit enter. I've had some assignments come in from some people that use somebody else's title block, get the wrong name, they get graded, you don't. So make sure you check your title block that it has your name down here in the title block somewhere. And once we get that done, we will be set to move on to some more intricate objects. Thanks.